Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoilers review of the new movie The Art of Racing in the Rain. So let's get into it. So for this review, I will be calling the movie Racing in the Rain, just for simplicity's sake. So Racing in the Rain is a movie that follows a race car driver who adopts a dog, and the story follows him as his life develops after adopting this dog and how the dog impacts the life of himself and those around him. And this is a movie that was brought to you by the same team that gave us the movie Marley and Me. And similar to the movie Marley and Me, Racing in the Rain is incredibly sad. It will rip your heart out, and it got me in all the feels. I'll say this though first. I did like this movie quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit. I'll say I liked it. I liked it because I thought that the cinematography of this movie was really well. I thought the way that this movie was shot was just done excellently. I thought it was actually done better than a movie of this type deserved. You know, they could have easily have made this, you know, just kind of on the cheap end and just focus on the dog and the story itself, because that's what people are going to want to see. They're going to want to see the dog and, you know, have the story revolve around the dog. But there are some really good visuals in this movie, particularly the sequences that involve driving and racing. The way that the camera follows the cars and cuts between the cars, it never feels jarring. It feels very fluid, and I thought that was all captured really well. The movie just has a really appealing look to it. It's visually just super nice to look at, and I really enjoyed that a lot. So that's a plus. And this isn't really meant to be a plus or a downside. It's just kind of my observation about this movie. Racing in the Rain is like a Hallmark movie, but it's less cheesy. Because, you know, Hallmark movies, they're by the numbers. They're all the same, just with a different set of actors and actresses and all that. You know, they lay on the emotion really thick and stuff. And this movie does lay on the emotions very thick, particularly the sadness. They really beat you over the head with the feels, as you could say. But like I said, this movie was filmed in a way that made it on par with other movies that have come out this year. It did not have to be that good looking of a movie, and in addition to that, it did not have to be as well acted as I thought it was. I thought that the leading actors and actresses and the supporting cast were all really well. I thought they did a good job. I liked all their characters. They had good dialogue, good delivery, and the dog in this movie, his name is Enzo, and he is voiced by Kevin Costner. And you wouldn't really think of Kevin Costner as someone who could voice a dog. You know, you think of him as more of a presence because he has such a prolific acting career. But having him be the dog, or the voice of the dog in this movie, it gave it some really nice grounded aspects to it. And when I say he's the voice of the dog, I don't mean that the dog talks in the movie. I mean that it is like his thoughts. You are hearing his conscious, what the dog thinks, Kevin Costner says. But it is still a dog, and this movie is still set in, you know, the real world where dogs can't talk. So just on a production level, I think this movie does a really good job. Like I said, it's shot well, good dialogue, good actors, and the dog is adorable. It's trained really well. They have it emote greatly, and I think that was really nice too. They didn't have it just be, you know, here's a cute dog. They actually gave it character. It was a character in the movie. They had it do things, and I really appreciate that about this movie. On the other side, though, like I previously said, this movie will beat you over the head with just pure sadness. This movie, you know, you kind of expect a movie that has a dog in it being kind of front and center. You expect to, at some point, feel sad, whether the dog gets injured or even killed, you know, tragically, or there's going to be something there that you know, makes this movie have more emotion to it than like a Marmaduke would or a Scooby-Doo would, you know, because those are just fun times. And this movie's a drama, so you have to try to figure out, okay, well, something's going to happen. And some stuff does happen. Like I said, this is a no spoilers review, so I won't tell you what those things are. But the key word is things. There is not one particular thing where you're like, oh, that's sad. There are multiple moments, both big and small, where I not only teared up, but I thought for sure I was going to cry in the theater. And I have only ever teared up during movies, and I've cried at home during movies, but actually in the theater I've only ever teared up. That's not just because like I'm tough, I won't let people see me cry. That is just because of all the movies I've seen in the theaters, not one of them has made me actually shed tears, but I've gotten close. This movie got me the closest I've ever been. I teared up 4 times, and each time I thought, here we go, this is it. I'm going to start crying, and if I cry, I'm going to weep, because this movie says, oh, you're sad? Oh, we're going to give you a little more. Oh, you think that's bad? How about this? Okay, just one more time. Let's take you around the block one more time. Here's your heart broken. Here are the pieces. Like, this movie just kills you. Absolutely kills you. And if you're looking for that in this movie, there you go. If you want a sad, mushy, gushy time at the theaters, you should see this movie twice. But for me, I did not know this movie existed until just the day before this recording was made. Shout out to the Real Blend podcast, and that's real as in movie reel. They're a podcast that talks about movies, and Racing in the Rain was one of the movies that they talked about on their latest episode, and I was listening to them, and I thought this movie sounds good. I like the description they gave in their review of it, so I was like, I'll go check it out. So I had no idea what this movie was about. Virtually nothing at all. All I knew is that there was a race car driver who adopts a dog. That's it. And all that. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if this was a comedy, if this was action, and just by the little snippets I heard from their podcast and looked online and from the posters I saw, I could tell, okay, it's probably going to be more of a drama. But man, there should be a new category after this movie, because this thing is just pure sadness and emotion. And again, that's not to say it's bad. I just think that in that department, it was overcooked. It was overdone. I saw a family in my theater during my screening, and there were the adults and then there were the children, and they were young children. I'm willing to bet that the parents thought, oh, this will be a cute, cuddly, fun movie to take the kids to because it has a dog and it involves racing and stuff like that. No, I was thinking about this family sitting in front of me in my theater, thinking, I wonder what they're thinking right now, because it beats you over the head with sadness to the point where it almost gets to be annoying. It's like, okay, we get it. You're a sad movie. We understand. I am sad. How much more sad do you want me to be? It kind of felt like that. And the movie was a little long, and I felt like even if they weren't going to make it as sad as they did, they should have eased back on the runtime, just because I thought it could have been tied up a little quicker. But knowing now how sad it is, you could have cut off a lot quicker. I would have much more preferred to get in and out as opposed to having to sit through this just tearjerker. And again, I'm not ripping on the movie for being what it is. That's like me saying this horror movie was bad because it was too scary. I'm not gonna say that. Again, I knew nothing about the movie going in. If the movie says in its description, this is gonna be a sad movie, then that's on me. I'm not ripping on it for that. I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea, and I like all kinds of movies except horror. But even though this was a sad movie, I thought it was just a little too sad. So that's really my big negative theme going across this review, is that I thought that they sold it to me too hard about what this movie was. Otherwise, though, I thought this movie was good. I actually, as I was walking out of the theater, I recommended it to my friend and his fiance. I think they would really enjoy this. But I told them in the text, this is sad. So just, if you do decide to see this, be prepared. And that's what I hope you guys get from this review, because you should see this movie. It is good, but you should just be prepared for what will be coming to you in a 2-hour time window, because this movie will probably make you cry. It got me very close, and if there's anybody out there who is super emotional or cries easily like this one, will definitely hit those buttons for you. It is good, and I would recommend it because, like I said, it's shot really well, and the acting is good, and all that stuff, and the dog is good. But it was just too sad for my taste. But anyway, that is my no spoilers review of The Art of Racing in the Rain. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, comment, share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. All right, peace.